You're listening to Estrogen Dropouts.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Erin.
And I'm Elizabeth, and today we are talking about a trending topic on social media, which we kind of touched on a little bit in a previous episode, but this is more extreme. We're going to be talking about going no contact with your parent with a type of toxic relationship.
Yeah. And I have a lot of feelings about this. And when we did share about that, how I shared about my take on how I feel that really accepting your kids for how they are is a good way to keep from them going no contact. But I'm in a lot of groups for midlife women on social media, and I see this all the time. And there always is such a broad, it's like everyone is either in camp kid or camp parent. If we're saying like we're the parent, if our kids went no contact, and how people are so divided. They either are like the kid's right or the parent is in the right, and to be upset about
Well, you can look at it as either way. I mean, in one aspect where the kid and the Gen X can be going no contact with their parent. I'm seeing that a lot. And then there's also the 20s somethings and 30 somethings that are going no contact with the Gen X parents.
Yeah. Are those millennials?
No, I think that's
Generation Y, Gen Y or something? Or Gen
or
Z?
Gen Z. I think, is that Gen Z?
I think Y might be millennials.
Yeah. So I think it's Gen Z.
Because we're X, Y, Z. So Ys are millennials, but they don't call them Gen Y.
It's called millennials.
Gen Z, which is like your kids are Gen Z. My two younger ones are Gen Z. My oldest one is a millennial, just by a year or something. And I, it's such it brings up a lot of emotion for me because I can see both sides of the coin. I can kind of be on the fence and see like how it could be very needed, say for a child to go no contact with a parent, or even a parent maybe to go no contact with a child. But then I also feel like going no contact is so harsh. Could you imagine like your kid just saying like, don't contact me, I'm not going to contact you, and just never talking to you again?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I would ever have that experience. Now, I very well could, but I think that the parents that are having that experience, from my understanding of seeing this trending, is that they have tried to talk to their parents about boundaries or what they need from their parents or how they feel about certain things, and their parents are not willing to change. And I think that it's reserved for, I think, although maybe in the groups you're saying, what I've seen is it's been like pretty extreme cases where they have felt like the parent is toxic in their life, or they aren't able to function with the negative impact that their parent is having on their life for whatever reason, whether it be that their parent is too controlling. And which, I mean, I have friends that still like, they are like you telling their adult child what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. And you can't do that. I mean, that's suffocating. And so I can see how, no contact is extreme. Limiting contact, I would think, would be better for that. That's why I have to think that anyone going complete no contact, it's going to be for a more serious.
Well, and of course, in all of the groups that I'm in, they're for midlife women. And here's the interesting thing. They're usually saying, I've never done anything wrong.
Yeah, not true.
And and now my child has gone complete no contact.
Yeah, no.
And the camp that's, on her side is saying like, these millennials or these, Gen Y or Gen Z, whatever they are called, are all about feelings and getting their feelings hurt. And then there's the other side who's saying like, your child didn't go no contact for no reason. There had to be a reason. But here's an interesting thing that I've noticed is a lot of times in those same groups, because there are I'm in a bazillion midlife women groups, just to see what are people talking about for the podcast. The women who are like our age, midlife women, have very toxic relationships with their parents, but they don't go no contact. It's I think more accepted in the younger generation to limit contact or go no contact, because
I think that's because I saw a therapist say that what they learn in school is that a parent's love for a child is unconditional, but that is not true for a child's love toward a parent. And it's not like in you, ingrained in you. And so it really is, are you a benefit to their life? And if they want you in their life, I mean, that sounds so harsh to say. And I don't know that I necessarily believe that, because I do think I have unconditional love for my mom. But I will say, like, so my mom is very negative. It is really hard to be around her when she's so negative. And I'm not going to go no contact over it, but I certainly put up a lot of boundaries. I'm limiting time with her because of the negativity, because it just feels so heavy. I cannot carry it and I can't separate it. So what I think of when I think of course, we're all looking through our own lens. From my experience is like, if a kid is going no contact with their parent, that parent must be imposing on them in a way that they feel like they can't be themselves, because, or they can't move through the world in a healthy manner with the influence of their parent in their life. And usually, from my understanding, is there's multiple chances before the no contact is drawn. Like, it doesn't just come out of nowhere.
It's
I'm
been
sure
a,
it does
it's
for
been a
some
slow
people.
burn.
Right. It's like they'll
Years of,
years, and they'll try to talk to them and there's no change, or
well, because I think parents get in their head, which is kind of what I alluded to when we talked about it in a previous podcast, is that we feel, I think sometimes parents, and maybe not all parents, but that our kids kind of owe us a certain, because we made all these sacrifices for them, we did all these things for them when they were growing up, like I became a stay-at-home mom when my kids, when my second child was born. But my kids didn't ask me to do that. My kids didn't ask to be born. My kids didn't ask me to make all these sacrifices. I chose to do that, so I can't hold that over their head like a little carrot. You know what I did for you,
yeah,
so you owe me. So that gives me the right to have an input in your life. And now, and we've talked about this, is like, how do you have a healthy relationship with a grown child? Is you have to realize that they are a completely separate person than you. And they are going to
and
make
they aren't a reflection of you.
exactly.
That's how parents start to get like hurt over their actions, because, or how they dress, or how they look, or how they're moving through the world, their partners, because they think it's a reflection on them. And it's,
Well, it may
I
be
mean, it might be a little bit.
maybe when they're 7 and you're sending them to school and you want them to follow your family's values and morals and kind of family rules, like we don't allow you to cuss or whatever it is, or to be disrespectful to adults when they're 7. But it's different when they're 7 and when they're 27,
Yeah.
because then they're adults. And so there has to be, it's trying to find, in those years between 7 and 27, where is it that you have to start letting go? I said this, I did a picture one time with my middle son and I said, being a parent is I can't say that word, simultaneously holding on tightly while letting go.
Yeah.
It's such a, trying to find the balance between when is it appropriate to start letting go, because I know that parents parents that I am friends with, who will still check on their kids' grades in college, in assignments, like, what do you have coming up that is
Yeah.
due? I stopped doing that when my kids, I hated it, because in my kids' middle school, they had, it was called Parent View or something like that, where you could log on and look at all their grades and you could get daily updates from the teachers'
Yeah.
blogs.
I
I was
don't do
like,
that.
do that.
I don't have time for that.
I was like, I already did school. I
Yeah.
already went to school for how many years?
Yeah.
And if they can't keep up with their own assignments,
Mhm.
and one of my friends one time, when our middle kids, we had sons the same age, and I think it was like 5th grade, and she's like, is Evan ready for the history test? I'm like, I don't know. When is it?
Yeah.
I'm like, and I think some people thought I was a bad mom.
I know, because it's like that is
We
a
have
thing when
not your
you're
mom, right?
kids, right, to stay on top of everything and to keep them organized. But I feel like it's more of a life skill to let them figure that out, and to fail or to pass, like that's on
Well,
them.
You also want them to fail while they're still at home and there's a
Yes.
soft landing place. Then when they get out, if you're waking them up for college classes, calling them on the phone, being their alarm clock, don't forget you have class this morning. Your kid, how are you going to ever let them, grow up and be an adult? I know that somebody was telling me they're a friend of theirs. So it's a friend of mine who they had emailed the child's boss.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's no.
So that would be a reason like, hey, mom, like we're going to have to go no contact or limit contact. But it's really interesting.
Well, I mean, just think, because if you are that mom that's calling your child's boss, you're doing a whole lot of other things as well. That's just one little glimpse. And that is definitely crossing a boundary.
Yeah.
I think that you just have to you have to be open to the relationship changing. You have to be open to your child rapidly changing. You can't see them through the lens of they're the 15-year-old or the 5-year-old, or you have to realize just when I think of myself, I grew so much just like every couple years in my 20s. It's like you're like constantly reinventing yourself. And so you have to get to know the person that they become as they grow along the way and have no expectations, which is hard.
Yeah. The other thing that I've noticed in a lot of the posts is a lot of times it's a son that's going no contact, and the person who's doing the posting, the mother, she is blaming it on the son's significant other.
Yeah, that's super common. It's crazy to me how we've talked about this before off, like how I think mother-in-laws are so hard on daughter-in-laws, and they're not so much on son-in-laws, but on daughter-in-laws, they
Have a
hold
different
them.
expectation.
Yes, it's a different expectation. They are so hard on them, and it's really toxic. Like I just keep thinking, like with my son, I mean, I'm not there yet, and I'm sure I'm gonna fail a bazillion times, but I'm gonna keep this in the forefront of my mind that I want a relationship. My goal is to always have a relationship with him. So I need to trust him with whoever he chooses. And even if they're not my favorite person, there's something about them that he needs at that moment in his life. And
And you can talk to your husband about,
right.
like, oh my gosh, I hope that he doesn't marry her.
Yes,
But
constantly.
when
Like
you're with them, you
you
just
can't say,
so my
and
oldest son had a girlfriend like that who my husband and I just could not understand what the attraction was. And we just kept saying, Jeff would say, like, oh my God, she could be the mother of our grandchildren. I'm like, hush, we have to love her because he loves her,
mm-hmm.
and we have to accept her, and we have to try to build a relationship with her. I mean, they weren't engaged or anything like that.
But right, I mean, like literally anything could happen.
Totally. She could have gotten pregnant. So I want to keep a good relationship. I always say I want to be a good mother-in-law. I had a really good mother-in-law. She's passed away. She never tried to tell me what to do. She didn't try to overtake with, when I had kids. She didn't try to give me advice. She didn't try to tell me how to, be a good wife. She didn't do any of that.
Yeah, mine hasn't done any of that.
We lived far away, but
Mm-hmm.
she didn't try to, take over or anything like that. And so that's what I just keep saying.
But I see, yeah. So I haven't experienced that either. But I can imagine that would be completely suffocating as
a
like,
daughter-in-law.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Yeah, but it happens a lot. Okay, well, I want to ask you about this. So I've had several friends, talking about going no contact, and how it seems like our generation, us ladies approaching 50 or in 50 and above, how we don't feel that we can go no contact, especially because as your parents age too, you feel this obligation. They're getting older, but because several of my friends have mothers, not parents. It's usually it's interesting, which
the mothers and daughters.
Yeah, mothers get kind of the short end of the stick. Let's be honest, right? If our child is messed up, it's because of the mother. If they're going no contact, it's because of the mother. But whose mothers will, even at this age, make comments to them about like their weight or their looks, or you really should lose weight, or you should do this, or you should do that. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, I mean, that would be hard to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
To my mother, if she tried to say,
Yeah, I've experienced that. It's not fun. And the blessing in that is that I would never do that to my daughters because I've experienced what that feels like. And
We're
so,
breaking that because a lot of people do it
right.
because they already had that experience with their parents. We model what we.
Hmm. And then, but I think that what the mothers do is they think they're doing it in love because they're like, well, I just want you to be more active and healthy. And like, but it's still, that's not how it's received. Look, if you're giving unsolicited advice, it feels like control and judgment. It
Yeah.
feels like judgment. If someone's not asking you. So,
Well, this is really a timely topic for today because yesterday I called my middle son. He and I are the ones that have had the most complicated relationship. It hasn't been difficult, but we've had the most complicated. We're probably the most alike, but I have in past how this all like my whole thinking about this over the years came about was because years ago when he was still in college, and every time we would talk, and he took a long time to get through college, I would say, "How's school going?" And I thought I was doing it out of like, I'm trying to motivate him, like, just hang in there, get out of,
yeah.
finish the semester strong. Just you can put your head down and you can do it. And I would just, and I remember one time, and this has been probably 5 years ago now, maybe more. He said, he said, Mom, he's like, can we ever just talk and not have you ask me about school and how I'm doing?
I had a similar with my son, and it wasn't like my son loves school. He's straight A student, like but every time we talk, I'm like, how's this? How's this class? How's this class? And not because I care. I really don't care. Like I trust him to
Because
be
he makes straight
right.
A's.
I'm just trying to connect. But he's like, it's too much. And I'm like, okay. And then I just told him, I said, I just really want to talk to you and I don't know what else to talk about. And so then then I started listening to a podcast he listens to. And now we talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What I know his interests are.
Well, and that's what I said. I said to my son, it's because I'm interested. And when they live away from you and you're not seeing them every day and you're not having shared experiences that you can talk about, that's just the natural thing that you go to. So I really made an effort not to ever, bring that up. And he's a vapor. And I used to say like, when are you going to stop vaping? Maybe you should stop vaping. Maybe you should stop vaping. And I don't say it anymore because I know that I'm not saying it out of judgment. I'm saying it out of
the concern, health.
concern.
That's serious. Yeah.
But I know that it sounds like judgment.
Yes.
Even though I'm not judging him. And so actually I called him yesterday because there was something I was watching on YouTube that made me think of that. And I don't know if I had ever clearly articulated to him and how if anything I had ever, said had come across as judgment or that I was not proud of him. And I just said, and I wanted to text it because texting is so much easier than saying those kind of words that are it's just uncomfortable, even with your child when you're being really vulnerable and apologetic. But I was like, don't say anything. Just let me get through this because I want to make sure always that with all of my kids that I have a very, very healthy adult relationship. It's not a parent-child relationship anymore, but it's a parent adult-child relationship. So
I feel like we become more like mentors.
Yeah, and it's on equal footing now.
Yeah.
There's no like what I say goes.
Right. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah. I know. It is. It makes me feel really sad for people when I hear or when I read that about the no contact because I just couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine going no contact with my mother, and I couldn't imagine my kids going no contact.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
Yeah. So
I think that we just have to work on having healthy relationships with our children, and when we have all. This is my belief. Okay, I'm a little dramatic about it, but I'm an overthinker, and I believe we have all failed our kids in one sense. Maybe not like the big picture, but we have all failed them. I think I'm a great mom, but I 100% know that I failed them in some way. And someday they're going to reflect on that. And someday they're going to be carrying that wound and they're going to bring it to me. And when they do, and they lay it at my feet and they said, you did X, Y, and Z, I cannot get defensive.
Right.
I cannot say, well, that's not what I meant. I really meant this. You took it that way. I can't say that. I have to just be with them and say, I'm so sorry I did that. If I could do it again, this is how I would do it. This is because this is how I truly feel. And I'm so sorry and not, and I also even think I wouldn't say, I'm sorry that I made you feel. Like sometimes that can be like,
Yeah, it's like
that's icky.
not really an apology.
Right.
It's
It's
kind of
like, I'm not
sorry that you're
owning that I
sensitive.
said that. It's like, you think I said that, but that's not really what I said. So I don't even like that. So I will say, I am so sorry. I wish I could go back. And if I could, here's the way I feel. And this is how I would say it. Or this is how I would move through that situation now. I'm sorry I didn't know better. And what can I do to grow this? What can I do to earn your trust back? Or what can I do to build this bridge? Because there's no one in the world more valuable than you to me.
Yeah.
Like, and you just have to, like, I tell myself that all the time, someday it's going to come to my feet and I have to be ready and open and vulnerable to hear it and
Right.
receive it and respond, because that response is going to be everything.
Well, I've preemptively done that with my kids. I have told each one of them at different times that every decision that I made for them when they were growing up, I made with their best interests at heart, with the information that I had at the time, made out of love. It may not have ended up being the best decision, or I may not have handled it the best way. And in retrospect, obviously, I might handle things differently. But no, there wasn't a single decision or thing that I did or said that wasn't done out of
Totally. Like, I mean, I think that we're all doing the best we can every single day.
right. But it doesn't excuse it. Just because I
Right.
did it out of love, it doesn't excuse if they took it a certain way. Or like you said, if they one day come to me, then I have to be willing, like you said, to not be defensive and hear them. And just even if you just listen to someone and hear them out,
Yeah.
sometimes is like the best thing you can ever do is if you really
Mhm.
like see them and hear them.
Yeah. I mean, because it takes a lot of courage to bring something to your parents' feet like that, I think, and to lay that there, because just think, kids are walking around with hurts for years and they're just trying to stuff it and get over it and swallow it and just ignore it. They don't want to rock the boat. They've got it. There's enough rockiness in parent-child relationships. They're like, I don't really want to have this fight. And they're afraid it's not going to be received well. So if they're actually bringing you something, it is to save the relationship. You don't bring up a past hurt or pain if you don't want to have that person in your life. You bring it up to heal it, to keep the person in your life. But if you don't receive it well, and if you are dismissive, that is when I believe that things can go not well.
Well, you just recently went on vacation with your daughters and their partners. Was
Yeah.
that
It
good?
was great. And it's funny because you were talking about how like your son was dating. So I went with my 3 adult kids, and my girls have serious boyfriends, and they both brought their boyfriends, and I adore both of them. They are really great guys, but both of their last boyfriends, I was dying over. Like, I thought they were terrible. I thought that there was something, I was so concerned. I was like, oh my God, like, how do I raise these girls that are literally choosing these losers? I mean, that's being dramatic. They aren't losers, but
But to you,
that's how I felt. Because I'm like, you have the best dad. And so that's another thing. I was like, you have a present dad. Like, how are you choosing these guys that are such idiots? Like, when you have the example that you have. And so I was like going crazy over it, but not to them. So to them, I was always just
like,
grinning and bearing it. Yeah. As soon as they would leave, I'd be like to my husband and my girlfriend and even, to all of my network. Oh,
Would
Chris
he
couldn't stand
agree?
either one of them.
Okay, so he agreed,
Yes, he 100% agreed.
but
But
he
he
also
knew
kept his opinion to himself.
he did. We both did. Yeah, because we knew that our relationship with our girls was more important than the 2 guys that were in their life. And we just prayed that they didn't get pregnant. Like, we were like, and my husband kept saying, I just hope to God no one gets pregnant. Like, because otherwise this idiot's going to be in our life forever.
Right. Right.
Forever. And thank God nobody did. But their two boyfriends now are amazing, and they're so sweet. And sure, there's like some awkward times, and that's just normal when you're getting to know someone. And I don't know, it went really well though. I was concerned because I was like, I wasn't concerned about the character of the guys. I was just concerned it was going to be really weird. And it was a little bit uncomfortable for me. I think they were probably fine, but it's weird to see your child like being lovey-dovey and like moving through the world with a partner. Like, I don't know. It's weird for the first time to see that.
Yeah. Well, that's my son's girlfriend that I was talking about. She was so timid, weak, just didn't have just any strength in her. And I was just saying to Jeff, how can he pick? Like, he has a very strong mom. I mean, this is not a brag, but I mean, I've had a lot of things happen in my life that I've just had to become very strong. I mean, I have a great support system, so I haven't done it on my own. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like he's going to be taking care of her all along. And I had to just keep my opinion to myself. I never said anything. And then one day they were visiting us, and he and I were in the car alone, and she had kind of a meltdown. And he started going off about her. And
You were probably like, thank you, Jesus.
well, I was inside. I was like, but I just said, when you pick a mate, these are just important things that you have to consider. And I never said anything negative about her. And I still don't. Like, he doesn't listen to the podcast, so he won't hear this. But I still have never said anything negative about her. I've never said, like, oh my God, what were you thinking? Because obviously he saw something in her.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a serious, serious, serious girlfriend who he will be proposing to very quickly.
That's awesome.
Or very soon, I should say, not very quickly. And we adore her. And I mean, all my like other boys, their girlfriends, we've always just loved. And it's like, if they love them, I'm going to love them. I'm going to welcome them into the home, come up like I don't. And then when they have had relationships end, I'm still very friendly to the girls. I don't cut them off. I mean, like, I'm not like, oh, she broke up with my son or whatever. I'm like, I love him to death still. My son had a girlfriend for 4 years. I still adore her. Like,
they're just not meant to be, they're just not partners. And I just lost my train of thought. Okay. I know what you're going to say.
I still love her. I still would, if I saw her, I would give her a big giant hug. I just think she's great.
That's great, because what the kids really hear whenever we disapprove of their partner is that we don't trust them. We don't trust them to make good decisions. We don't trust who they choose to have in their life, what they value. We aren't seeing who they are as an individual. And so what I learned, a therapist taught me, was because I had to see a therapist over one of my daughter's boyfriends because I was so concerned. I was like, and she said, the key to this is to ask questions and just to be like, so what is it that you like about him? How does he make you feel? That's great, because there is goodness there. That's what they're seeing. And whatever that is that they tell you when you're asking these questions are like, I really want to know what you see in him, like in a kind way, not a judging way.
Not like, what do you see in him?
Yeah. Just like, hey, so what is it about this relationship you like? Or how does he make you feel? Or then you can see what your child is really needing. And for my daughter at that time, she was like, well, he really knows what he wants, and he's very secure, and he takes care of me when we go out. I don't feel unsafe when I'm with him. And there was a past trauma there. And so I could see that she just needed to be cared for. And so I thought, okay, this guy I don't like, but I like that he's caring for her and that he makes her feel safe. And so I was able to hold on to that, even though I saw there was an alcoholic, and that was my issue with him. So and I was like, and my husband like barely drinks. He'll have like a beer once every few months. Like, he's just not, so it was just so weird for me. I'm like, how do you end up with an alcoholic?
Right. When you didn't have any.
Yeah. That's not been in your life. Like, it's so weird. But he made her feel safe. And that I can't argue. I mean, that's so important. And so I thought, well, at this stage in her life, that's really what she needs. And let's pray to God she didn't get pregnant.
Yeah. You're such a good mom.
Oh,
You have really good insight too. I like how you,
aw,
and I
thanks.
would try to do that too, because I can remember when my middle son, this was in elementary school, he had a girlfriend, and this sounds very ugly, and people can judge me for it. But she was not cute at all. I mean, I think everybody's beautiful in their own way, but he's very cute. And I just was very perplexed by, of
He
all
must
the
have,
girls in the school that she really was just not cute at all. Um, but
he
so
saw her personality.
Well, so I said, what is it that you like about her? Tell me what it is that you like about her. He said, she is very funny. He said, she's kind. And he
Aw,
said, she's good at sports.
I
Which
love that.
right? He was in fifth grade.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I said, those are such good things, good
Yeah.
traits. And she was very sweet. It's just that, and it sounds mean for me to say this because it's not all about looks by any stretch of the imagination, because we're all going to get old, we're all going to get wrinkly. But it just was not who it was his first girlfriend who I would have pictured him with, because, I just thought, like, huh, okay.
But that's good. So, but I guess, I mean, that's great that at a young age he was choosing based on a connection in his
Yeah.
heart and he wasn't just going, and that came from you. I mean, he saw
Yeah.
you guys demonstrate valuing someone's insides over their appearance.
Well,
That's
that's,
good.
you got to value somebody's insides, because all of this is going to fade one day.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I'm trying my hardest to not let it fade, and we'll have to do a whole episode because I've been doing that's another group. I'm in a bazillion facelift groups.
Oh, I'm in the Mexico one where the
Okay,
people go to Mexico and I'm like, oh,
they go to Mexico.
they go to Guadalajara and oh yeah, Turkey.
Yeah, Guadalajara. Everything is like Guadalajara. And so I asked Jeff, I was like, well, so if I was going to have a facelift, would you be okay with me going to Mexico and you could come and, we could make a vacation?
I'm gonna guess he said no.
Oh, he's just like,
And Chris is like, absolutely not.
yeah,
Because I'm like, I'm going to Mexico. He's like, no, you're not.
yeah.
And he was like, why would you? And I'm like, well, because you save like $10,000. He's
More
like,
than that. It's like half as much.
yeah, he's like, we'll pay it. Like, if you need something.
Listen, so the groups that I'm in, they're, the well-known social media ones.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's $165,000 to $200,000 for a facelift and neck for a deep clean.
Wow.
And you can get that in Mexico for $14,000.
That's great. Well, we have a friend that did a lower facelift. What is hers? But she had to redo it.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, our friend. Yeah.
I,
Yeah, because the doctor and the guy that she had revise it. You never go back to the same doctor if you're going to have
yeah.
revision. That's the one thing that I'm learning. We're going to have to do a whole deep dive.
Yeah, we'll have to do a whole thing.
Is the doctor that she ended up doing her revision through had done other revisions for the doctor that she went to originally.
Mm,
So it is so important to do your research.
yeah.
So important. But yeah, Jeff won't let me go to Mexico. I mean, it is risky. What if you have a complication? Are you going to just fly
Yeah.
back there? I mean,
It's fun to watch though on social media. Watch all
I
these
just
women.
love to get all the information. I'd love to see the people who like
The
actually,
before and after.
yeah, they'll do like the whole journey through, 1 day post-op, 3 days,
Yeah.
7 days post-op, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, but anyways, well, so I guess the bottom line is that if you want to always have a relationship with your child, treat them like you would a friend, in the sense of having that respect.
By not interjecting in their life constantly
Yeah.
and by keeping open communication. I think making their partner feel welcome is really important. So when their partner comes over, like I always make it a point to just be like, because I think, how would I want to be treated? I'd want to feel wanted. And
Right.
so if we want our kids to come and spend time with us as they get partners, we have to include their partner in, and we have to have genuine interest in them. It can't just be like fake, oh, I'm supposed to ask, how are you? No,
Right.
it's like, it's got to be genuine. You have to really want to have that connection with them.
Yeah. And then I think for our generation of having parents that maybe have more toxic traits is that having good boundaries. So not being afraid to set boundaries. And you don't even have to say it, maybe, because their generation is a little bit
Yeah, they
different.
don't do that.
But you just let yourself know in your head, I'm going to have these boundaries, and then you adhere to them and you respect them, but you respect your boundaries that you set for yourself. So if that's limiting time or redirecting, if they start to say, like, oh, well, if you lost weight, you look so much better, mom, thank you for that input, but right now that's, not something that I need to hear. Saying it in a nice, kind way.
I heard somebody say that if you're struggling with that, like with interacting with a parent, that you should, this sounds a little nuts, and this is extreme. So, but if you have a parent that's really causing you issues, then you think that they have a mental disorder. Like in your head, label them like bipolar, even though they're really not, right?
Like, oh, they got
Or dementia, right? Like whatever. And then in your mind, you'll be able to let it go easier, because if you're talking to someone that you think has dementia or something, then you can really go, oh, they say crazy stuff. Like it's fine. Like, and you can let it go easier than ruminating on it or thinking about it afterwards, thinking I should have said this, I should have said that. What does it matter? Because they've got dementia. So just let it go in your brain.
Right. Well, I was going to real quickly say, so my mother has never made a single comment about my looks or what I wear or my weight. One time she did say, I think you're too thin. It was during a really bad time in my life. I had my breast cancer and my pacemaker all within a month of each other. It was in 2014. And I lost a lot of weight and I was like super skinny. And she said, I think you're too thin. And she said it in a loving way. But my mother has never made a comment about my looks. She's never said, how some, like, I tell my kids how handsome they are. She's never said, like, oh, you're pretty.
So how do you feel about that?
And actually, so I think I'd rather her not say anything than to say negative things and positive things. Like I'd rather it'd be nothing. But this is funny so when I started coloring my hair blonde, because I've always, I'm a super dark-headed person, but I had so much gray and I got tired of every 2 weeks I'd see the gray coming in. So I'm doing the blonde to hide the gray, but I'm going to get my hair colored Friday. So all of this is the gray. But she did say, because I knew she was going to hate it, because my mother's never colored her hair in her life. She's never done anything, dyed her roots. She's never had any highlights. Her hair is virgin hair. But she did say, I think blonde really suits you. And I was so shocked because
you're like, dang, that must look good then. If you never say
oh, okay, that's like high praise coming from my mom, because she just doesn't make comments about what we look like or what we wear or our weight. I mean, she does say things about, she's very complimentary about attributes or traits.
Yeah, I love that.
Like you have a loving heart, or you're such a good mom, things like that. So it's not that it's not that she doesn't give any praise. It's just not about things that are superficial.
It's about things that really matter. That's so great.
So, I hope to always be like her with my kids and with their partners.
I was always told, like, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, you're so, like, always. And so much so, not that this was anything that they did. This was just something I imagined in my head. I was never told. I knew I wasn't told I was smart. I wasn't told I wasn't smart, though. But it was just always, you're so pretty, you're so pretty. So in my mind, I was like, oh, but I'm not smart. Like, even though there's no fault of theirs.
Never told you weren't smart.
Right.
I extrapolated from, well, I'm getting all this praise on my looks, so that's the only thing about me that.
Right. So that's what I was. So with my girls, I never said they were pretty. I was always like, you're so smart. Like, that's what I focused on, because that's what I needed to hear. And so I was always like, you guys, you have such big brains. Like, you are so smart. Like when they were little and stuff. And I'd be like, yeah, if they put a cute outfit on and we're proud, then I'd be like, oh, you're so sparkly. Oh, you have such good style. You have such good taste. Like I would say things like that. But now I've been regretting it, because I've been like, I wonder if they feel.
If they're like, now I'm smart and I'm not pretty.
Right. That's what I'm afraid of. So like for the past 5 years, I have now been saying, or 4 years, I have been like saying it more. You're so beautiful. You're so pretty. But they didn't hear it on purpose from me, not because I think they're the most beautiful girls in the world, but I just didn't say it a lot
Yeah,
out of,
they are. They're very, very pretty. Yep.
but so it's just funny. So now I'm like trying to make up for it. I'm always like,
Yeah.
oh, you're so beautiful.
I
They're
tell
like,
you what, being a parent, it's a never ending
I know we're always second guessing
yeah,
ourselves.
doing too much, doing too little. What
Yeah.
like it's like and I think moms do get the short end of the stick for sure.
Yeah. And I think that though, if you're overthinking like us, that's how you know you're not failing because you care. Like you care enough to be putting all this energy in. And so, anyway,
Yeah.
we're all doing okay.
Yeah. So, well, we hope that you learn something, maybe
Didn't feel so alone.
yes, exactly. If you're going through it, we certainly feel your pain. We would definitely love for you to hit the follow button so that you can stay in the loop to see whenever new episodes release.
And follow us on Instagram for sure. Oh, and TikTok and all that. But definitely follow us. And you can always message us if you have any requests or comments about an episode that you want to share with us. And maybe we'll include it in a future episode.
Definitely. So we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been a production of Estrogen Dropouts, LLC.